What's going down, guys? It is your boy, Studio MacGyver, and you are listening to Studio MacGyver's Dragon Ball and Video Game Podcast. Let's get into this episode today, guys. We have some things that I want to discuss. It's been a very hectic week as of late, man, and it seems like every fucking time I get ready to record this podcast, something seems to happen to deter me from what I need to do. And it's been happening the last 2 or 3 weeks or so now. I don't know if something's in the water. I don't know if the video game gods, or I don't know what the fuck is going on, but please let this be the last time that this is happening. I'm used to, a structured, a very, point A to point B, so on and so forth type of layout when I record my podcasts, man, but it's just been hectic, man. I don't know if it's, like I said, I really don't know, but let's just get started, shall we? We're going to talk a little bit about a game called Onimusha Warlords. We're going to talk about some Streets of Rage 4. Yes, that is a thing, actually. Also going to talk about Xbox and their all access thing that they have going on, and we're going to talk a little bit about some Shinobi Striker. We're going to definitely get into some Cyberpunk 2077, and we've got some Spider-Man talk as well. And we cannot forget My Heroes One. Why do I always fuck that up? My Heroes One's Justice, the Switch version. We're going to talk a little bit about that as well. My time with the Nintendo Switch now, guys. If you do not know, if you have not been paying attention to the last podcast or so, I now have a Nintendo Switch. I'm going to talk a little bit about my time with that. And last but not least, man, we're going to talk some Nintendo 6.0 update conversation, man. We're going to have a little bit of that. Which one should I start with first? I mean, there's no particular order. Okay, let's just go with some news for a release of a series that was very, very dear to my heart. And maybe some of you guys listening, a game that goes by the name of Onimusha. Now, if you guys aren't familiar with this series, man, it was a big time series back on the PlayStation 2 lifespan or life cycle. Man, I played 1, I played 2 and 3 of these games, and the one I did not get to play was Warlords. So Warlords is being released January 15th, man. It's a release day, and it's only going to be about $20. So that's good. I was going to say, if it is coming for all platforms too, so Nintendo Switch included. So I think I will definitely be picking that up. I want to see how big the game is, of course, because there's been some talk of a non-physical release for the Nintendo Switch in America, in North America. Now, in Japan, supposedly they're going to have a physical release, and in PlayStation 4 and all the other consoles, they're going to have a physical release. But for some reason, North America does not intend on having that. I don't know if they're being cheap. I don't know what's going on, but that's the word on the game out here in these video game streets. Hopefully that is changed, and we eventually get a physical copy of that, because if it's a larger game, man, the thing with the Nintendo Switch and some of their games, man, if you got a game that's a little too large, man, nobody wants to spend that. And if it's only, download only, you're going to suffer, because it's going to take up a shitload of space. And, I found that out the hard way when I was looking for Resident Evil Revelations 2, and I was gonna download it, because it's only downloadable. You can't buy a physical copy of it. And when I looked at the fucking the size of that, I was like, wow. I think the last time I checked it, man, it was around 25 gigs. It was something stupid, something crazy, but basically it was going to eat up all the memory I had on my Switch, because you only get about 25 gigs after the operating system. So yeah, that's pretty much the whole system right there. So I was like, nah, fuck that, let's move on. But yeah, man, when you're dealing with larger games, I mean, that's what you gotta deal with. So that's why it's very important, man, that we get physical releases of some of these games, because I really want to play Revelations 2 on the Switch. But man, I'm not gonna be putting it on the Switch when the file is that fucking big. I would hope and pray that we somehow are able to get a physical copy of that game. But hey, that's wishful thinking on that title. You know, so it is what it is. But yeah, man, Onimusha is definitely a series you guys need to check out. It's a dope series. A lot of people, a lot of younger gamers, probably don't know what the fuck I'm talking about, but it was definitely ahead of its time. And I'm just happy that we get this game, one of these games, and we get to experience that in January. So be looking out for that, guys. Onimusha Warlords. Next game I want to brush up on is Streets of Rage 4, slated for 2019. If you guys don't know about Streets of Rage, it's even an older game back on the Sega and in arcades. If you're not familiar with it, I'm sure lots of gaming enthusiasts are familiar with Streets of Rage 2, which is, hailed as one of the best beat 'em ups in its time, from back in the day. And, I can definitely attest to that. I remember laying plenty of hours with my brothers and friends on the weekends and summers, playing this game. So many good memories. But Streets of Rage 4 is definitely a new added game to the family. It's a very, I guess I'm not going to say very different, but cosmetically it is different. Cosmetically, it's got like a super facelift. And we're looking at like, I can't explain the graphics. The graphics are, you would just have to Google it for yourself, but they're not 16-bit graphics like, the previous titles were. It looks good though, for what it is. And I'm anxious to see, how they play this. Now the characters, Axel is one of the main characters, the guy with the white t-shirt and the blue jeans or whatever. He's definitely in this game. And now he's got a fucking beard. Now he's older. And, there's some other characters here. But it looks interesting, man. It looks like something I would definitely want to try out. But it is slated for 2019, and I think it's all cross-platform. So be looking out for that, guys. Streets of Rage 4. All right. The next game I want to talk about is probably going to, it's going to hurt and rub a few people the wrong way. This game I'm going to be talking about is My Hero One Justice, man, for the Nintendo Switch. Apparently there's been a few people who have actually gotten a hold of this title, and they were very honest about the game. You can tell that they were not being biased, and that was a good thing. There were some pluses and there were some minuses, and basically the minuses outweighed the pluses, man. They basically said that the Switch version, and I'm talking about the Switch version here, primarily, the Switch version had excellent netcode. That's a good thing, right? I mean, that's a major gripe with a lot of these anime-based online fighting games. The netcode is always shitty, and they're always constantly trying to figure out a way to make it work, and it always almost never does. And to hear that's kind of a breath of fresh air, though. I mean, in a sense, but I'm not going to stop there. Also, the fighting mechanics of the game, they're watered down. They're not, a lot of, fighting enthusiasts, they're not really going to get, I don't think they're going to get their worth out of this game. It's very, very simple, maybe even simpler than the Ninja Storm series. But the Ninja Storm series had a few layers of depth to it, but I don't know, man. Supposedly, this is not the case for this title. At least that's what, some of the people that, I were listening to and watching videos about were saying about this game. So they were also saying that it is definitely not worth the $60 price point, for this title. Characters are limited, but you get an okay amount of characters from for it being a first attempt at a new anime, and them trying to make a game based on these characters or whatnot. So All in all, with the simplicity of the fighting, and they said that the frame drops, there's a lot of drops in the frame rate as well. That's also been stated. I don't know, man. I tend to go with what this guy was talking about, and I tend to believe what he's saying. If you're looking out there, you're a fan of the series or whatever. And this guy, let me also say this real quick. He's also a major fan of My Hero Academia. So you are, most of us tend to be a little bit biased towards these type of games. Especially if you're a fan of the series, because you want it to succeed, you want it to work, and you want to get into, some of the gameplay and everything like that. But, for him to say that, it still wasn't worth the buy, and it it kind of hurt him to say that. You could hear it in his voice. He didn't, he didn't want it to be that way, but it is what it is. I mean, when you look at yourself in the mirror and you have to ask yourself some questions and you can't lie to yourself, then, that's what happened here. He looked at himself in the mirror with the lights on, when nobody was around, and he had to ask himself, how do I really feel about this game in my heart and in my soul? And he couldn't lie to himself. And, it is what it is. At least he was honest about it, and I appreciate that. And, that's why I'm going to kind of wait for the price to drop, maybe 20 or 30 bucks, man. And that's My Heroes One's Justice right now, in a nutshell, for the Switch version. Now, they could change some things. We could get some patches. One of the last things I want to talk about, referring to this game, is how broken everybody's claiming that this game is. The characters are completely broken to the point where they were starting to question the developers, and if they were even testing these characters, man. You know what I mean? Usually, you have some people who come in and they bring players in to, have matches and, learn the ins and outs and everything, and find out, what characters are this and what characters are OP and who's broken. And apparently, man, listening to these guys talk, these guys did not do that. They're talking about how the range characters are OP as fuck. There's no way that close combat fighters can get in close, and all you got to do is just sit back and spam all day long, and there's nothing you could do about it. So, that's a deal breaker. That's probably the number one thing you don't want in a fighting game. A completely unbalanced game. If you got good netcode, it's like, it doesn't, it's crazy because most games, it's one thing or the other, man. It's almost never right. All I'm going to say is I hope that they clean this up. I hope that, there's patches when this comes out, and I hope that, everything works out in the end. But listening to this guy and listening to what I've read, it's a long way from being a $60 game. And if that, at best it might be worth $50 after everything's cleaned up or whatever. But we shall see, man. We shall see. But that's why we have people who review games, and that's why we have people who get their hands on them early, to help those people who are on the fence about buying certain things, man. And to be honest with you, I don't know what I would do if I didn't have some of these guys out here doing this, because I'm going to be bringing another game into the limelight and talking about it, and a game that actually hurts me to talk about right now, and that's Shinobi Striker. Yes, I played the demo, or they had the demo that was going on not too long ago, and I played with some friends and we got into it a little bit, and graphically, man, it's a beautiful game. I love the way it feels when you're not online, and that's about it, man. I could see this game getting extremely repetitive in a matter of weeks. I say 6 weeks, man, tops, and you're gonna be burnt out on this game. That's just the feeling I got playing this, and it hurts me to say that, man, because I love Naruto. I love that series. I really do, man, and I really wanted this game to work. And I have a friend who actually pre-ordered the game, and now I feel bad because I'm going to hold his hand like a small child, walk him into the wilderness, and leave him to die by himself, because I'm not going to play it. I'm not going to buy it now. Now, if the game was $20, maybe $30, yes, I would definitely pick it up. But right now, man, I can't constitute spending $64 and some change after taxes on this title right now. When you put everything in here and you want to weigh it, when you put everything in one basket and weigh it, it's just not going to happen for me. Not right now. And, you know, especially for people who have a limited amount of money, and I'm included in that, and you have to make a decision on one game or the other, because, you know, Spider-Man is right around the corner. I mean, you're going to have to pick, you know, the one that works best for you, man. And I do not want to be that guy, you know, with the lights out, laying in bed, looking at the ceiling, kicking myself in the head because I bought a game that I should not have bought. You know what I mean? And that is, I basically, it was a close call because I almost got this game. Okay. But luckily I did not. And, you know, hey, if you love this game and, you know, hey, please don't get it twisted. More power to you. I have to be real with myself, and, you know, it's not for me right now. It's not for, I'm not going to spend 65 on it. Okay. It's just not going to happen. It's still very limited. You know, there are more weapons, and, you know, the customization is pretty dope. And, you know, you can grind for, a lot of different things cosmetically, you know, hairstyles, new makeup, different weapons, different colors and variations of other outfits, and so on and so forth. You know, that's cool. And that's a plus on this game. Also, everything can be done completely offline, which was a stickler of mine. And, you know, any game for the most part that is online, I would like to have, you know, an offline mode and an online mode. So you can pretty much do everything you want to do offline as well. But everything else, when it comes to going online, the camera is very, very, very bad, man. The camera is just horrific. The lock-on system works sometimes, and sometimes it doesn't. It's very hit and miss. Like I said, there's a lot of technical issues, man, with this game that need to be addressed, man, before it's all said and done. If they cleaned a lot of this up, you know, it could be a lot better. But for the first installment of a Naruto-based online / you know, MOBA type of game, I mean, it's mediocre at best. And, you know, I'm going a little bit more than, I'm somewhat biased because I love Naruto the series. So just think of somebody who doesn't really know anything about Naruto trying to pick this up casually, or just knows a little bit about it and wants to play it. They're not going to do it, man. And that's just what I have to say about it. You know what I mean? I'd like to hear you guys' comments. I'd like to know how you guys feel about it. Do you feel differently? Do you agree with some of the things I'm saying? You know, am I drinking too much sake? Am I, you know, talking out of my ear? Let me know at Studio MacGyver on Twitter, and we could talk about this, man. No problem. But as it stands right now, man, I'm going to put my money on the table and walk away. But that money is for Spider-Man, not Shinobi Striker. Okay. The next subject I want to talk about, guys, is Spider-Man. We're already here. I've already mentioned it. There's been some things going on about Spider-Man. There's been some people are a little upset, you know, on a number of different things about this game, man. And I think, I don't feel that way, and I'll get to that in two shakes of a lamb's tail. But right now, if you guys have not heard or do not know, Spider-Man is coming out September 7th, and there have been already an announcement that was made about the game. In other words, there's already DLC being planned for this game. Matter of fact, 3 separate DLCs have already been announced, and the game is not even out yet. That's ruffled some feathers for a lot of people out here in these video game streets. They look at it as a form of, you guys are trying to gouge us for more money, yada, yada, yada. Why couldn't you put it in the game first? Why are you even announcing the DLC before the actual game is even available? And that's rubbing some people the wrong way. And I can kind of see what they're talking about a little bit, but I have to, get my hands on the game first before I make that judgment, because looking at this game from the outside, it looks like these guys put everything into this game. And I think when we get the vanilla build of the game, I think it's going to be more than enough, as a standalone game, minus the DLC. And I feel that it will be worthy of a game of the year, candidate. You know what I mean? Honestly. And there's another issue that has been, I guess, rubbing people the wrong way is the cosmetics of the game. Basically the presentation that they had and they gave everybody, compared to the actual in-game cosmetics. People are, upset because it's not as clean and it's not as graphically beautiful as before. So there people are, well, look at it now compared to this. The shadow's missing. The water puddle is a lot bigger and shinier and more, looks just so much better. You know what I mean? And, game companies have been doing this shit for years. I mean, when they present a game, they're going to doctor it up and give it the facelift and all of it, everything, under the sun, to appeal and appease, the masses. That's just how it is. But I mean, to be honest with you, the downgraded, quote unquote downgraded, I guess footage is still breathtaking if you ask me. I mean, that's just, I don't know, man. I'm not really fucked up by it. Like I said, when I get the game in my hands, and get it for myself, I can make that judgment. But I don't think it's going to bother me like it's bothering a lot of people out here, man. I was never one of those guys, that graphics don't get it twisted. Graphics do matter. I'm not saying they don't, but I'm not one of those guys who live and die by the graphics. I'm just not one of those guys. If it looks good and decent enough, and the story is intriguing and all of that, you know what I mean? I can look past some things graphically on the title, man. I've done it before and I can definitely do it again. But this by no means means that the game is inferior graphically, or anything like that. It's still it's still a beautiful game. Don't get it twisted. It's just, I'm just talking about what some people are talking about, in these video game streets about this game. And I guarantee you those guys are still going to pick up the game. They're still going to play it. Don't let them fool you. They're just letting off some steam. That's just how I feel about it. How do you guys feel? Are you out there tripping over graphics, as much as, some of these other guys are? I mean, do you care? Do you even care? Or do you just want to play what looks to be an excellent fucking game from Insomniac Games? I mean, I know I am. I can't wait to play this. That's it. The DLCs have already been slated, though. I'm also looking forward to those. Now, I feel that these guys made a masterpiece, and I might be jumping the gun here, putting the cart before the horse or whatever, but that's just the feeling I have right now. And this DLC that these guys got coming out, man, I think that, you can kind of look at it two different ways with the DLC, because some companies, yes, we live in an age where DLC is almost part of games now. I mean, for the most part, it's very rare now that you have games that come out and they're done. They're already done. There's nothing else that needs to be added. But that's just the world we live in now, man. As consumers and as game companies, that's what they do. And, if it's a good thing, I'd want more of it. In other words, if I play Spider-Man and play the story and feel that it was a complete story, because I feel that it will be, the game is supposed to be huge and there's going to be plenty of things to do in this game. I believe that, this DLC is gonna make sense. Maybe they couldn't put it in the game because the game is already so big. Maybe they needed this DLC. Maybe they're just trying to appease us with this DLC. I mean, because they probably knew that they had a hit on their hands and they knew that, well, this game's gonna be so good, people are gonna be wanting more. So let's get some DLC out here. And that's them paying for them to create the DLC, because it costs money to make extra DLC or whatnot. This takes time and more resources or whatnot. So you could look at it through that lens as well. So you be your own judge, and you figure out how, you want to look at this and you want to take this. Me personally, when it comes to this Spider-Man game, from everything that I have already seen, read, and heard, I am looking forward to playing this game, and I don't think nothing that anybody can say or do is going to deter me from doing that with this title right here, man. Do I want the black suit? My only gripe is if it doesn't have the black suit, yeah, it's gonna hurt me a little bit. But other than that, man, I'm willing to look past them not having the symbiote Spider-Man black suit in here, if that's how they choose to do so. But other than that, man, this game is gonna be gonna be a lot of fun for me. And that's the Spider-Man talk, guys. So would like to hear your comments, would like to hear your thoughts on this game, because it's definitely a big game. And, us PS4 boys are going to be having some things to talk about when it drops. And let me just add this as well, before I get off of Spider-Man real quick. I mean, the sheer stuff that they added in this game, like the photo mode, I mean, I would advise anybody, whether you're on the PlayStation or not, to take a look at some video of this, man. This Photoshop is hands down one of the best Photoshops I've seen, man. It's fucking dope. You're gonna be able to do a lot of stuff, man, with this photo mode here, man. They have like a comic book template where you can actually, while you're hitting a guy, you can freeze frame it, you can get the angle you want on it, and then you can put it on a comic book and make it like it's actual. But it looks it looks crazy. That alone right there, I mean, has me like, there's so many things about this game that is just gonna be fun, and it's just gonna be a hit, man. I just know it is. I can't wait. It's gonna be a dope game, and I just really feel bad for every other console owner who doesn't have a PS4, man, and is not gonna get to experience this. It's almost a fucking crime. It's almost a crime if you ask me, but that's just me. Tell me how you feel at Studio MacGyver on Twitter, Instagram, Studio MacGyver 79. Let's talk about this. All right. I'm all ears. All right. Now, I'm done with Spider-Man. Let's move on real quick. Let's talk a little bit about Nintendo. The 6.0 update is soon to be among us, and everybody is speculating. Everybody is, giving their 2 cents on what's going to be going on with it. What's going to be added. What are they going to do? Will Netflix be available? What's going on? And there's nothing concrete. Like I said, everything is speculation right now, but rumor has it that there's going to be, possible themes, new with this update, and messaging. Those are the 2 big things that people are talking about, possibly being added to the new 6.0 update. And I want to know your thoughts on this. I think it's a long time coming, especially for people who've had the system from launch. I mean, I'm sure you guys want to look at some new things. I mean, it's definitely very simple. The interface, as far as, cosmetics are concerned. I mean, like I said, I now have a Nintendo Switch. So, I mean, it's either, I think, black background or a darker background, or a, clear white, just a white background. And that's it, man. It's very simple. I mean, me personally, it would make or break me if I had, themes on it or not. But, it would definitely be welcome, though. I mean, for real. I mean, me personally, I'm more so looking forward to a message system. I would really like a, party chat system update at some point. But, that is definitely wishful thinking right now. But that's me. When you make friends or whatever, you want to communicate with them, you want to talk with them, right? I mean, some of my best friends, some of my best friends are people that I have met actually on the PlayStation 4, man, via party chat. Going on 4 years now. I have a really good couple friends that I've known for years now, and I consider them damn near brothers. And, we talk about everything under the sun, from games as it started out as, and then we got personal, and we know each other's, family members and all of those type of things, man. And it just, I mean, it's crazy how that happened, but I mean, that's the beauty of gaming. And you know, I kind of want to experience that same thing, you know, with Nintendo. But it's going to be hard if you can't talk to anybody, man. And messaging is still, you know, it's prehistoric, is what it is. I mean, it's cool, I guess, and that's even if it's there. I mean, these are speculations. These are just rumors. We don't really know what the fuck is really going to happen. But I hope that we at least get messaging, and that would be a dope step in the right direction moving forward. Okay. But yeah, that update is coming soon. I want to say it's this month. I can't wait to see what's going to happen with it, and we'll go from there. I'll definitely be filling you guys in on all of that. All right. Next, I want to talk about my time with the Nintendo Switch. If you guys don't know, I recently got a Nintendo Switch, and I only have one game. I only have one game right now for a couple of reasons. One, because I'm fucking broke. You know what I'm saying? I just got the Switch, and I had to get shit for it. You know, I got a case for it. And I got one game, and Spider-Man is around the corner, so I had to make sure I had the money for that. So yeah, man. The first game I got was Hollow Knight, like I mentioned before I was going to get, and I'm enjoying Hollow Knight right now, man. It is definitely a dope indie title. It deserves, it could have been a AAA title, man. Honestly, I would have definitely paid full price for this game. It is definitely a game with deep lore to it. It's definitely a huge game in the aspect of Metroidvania style title. And like I said, I'm still like just barely scratching the surface of the game, man. I had a boss fight the other night that took me over a dozen times to beat this bitch. Yeah, she was pain in my ass, man, and I finally got past her. But yeah, right now I'm trying to farm for money so that I can get some more of these trinkets to add to my repertoire, and you know, get out here in these Hollow Knight streets and start getting in some killing some motherfucking bugs. But yeah, man, I'm really enjoying it, having a great time with it. And you know, that's what I'll be playing right now. It'll be a little Hollow Knight, and then in a minute it'll be Spider-Man. So I'll be teeter-tottering, you know, playing those two games for the foreseeable future, especially that Spider-Man when it drops. But yeah, that's my time right now, man. I mean, the system is pretty sleek. It feels very, very sturdy. It feels good in your hands. I like the idea of being able to take games on the go. And yeah, I'm really, really enjoying the system right now. Like I said, just one game right now. My next title I'm looking forward to playing is going to be Golf Story. I've been doing a lot of research on that game, man. I've heard nothing but great things. And, you know, one of my favorite games on the Nintendo DS is a golf game. And I just have a feeling that this game here is going to make me very, very happy, man. I think I'm going to have a lot of fun playing this game. But yeah. And then I found a lot of Neo Geo shit, man. I love the Neo Geo system. And, you know, I love fighting games. I love my fighting games. You know, my King of Fighters, Garu Mark of the Wolves, which is one of my all-time favorites in that genre. I'll be definitely picking those up. Those are also available, some of those titles, man, on the Nintendo system. So there's a lot of things, man, to be discovered in the eShop, and I found a lot of hidden gems and games I used to play back in the day on the Neo Geo arcade. So that's definitely going to be some games, and they're cheap, you know, $7.99 on average, no more than $10, man. So yeah, I'm already looking at a library. You know, you go to the shop and you basically, you know, put them on your wish list. So I have a shitload of games on my wish list. So as time progresses and as money becomes available to me, you know, I'll be adding more here and there. And the good thing about that is it's not, you know, they're not like $60, you know, I might spend $20 at the most on some of these titles. So they range anywhere from, you know, $5 to $20, man, give or take, per title. So that's cool with me until it's time to pick up some of these other ones like Breath of the Wild, which I will eventually get to. I will also eventually get to Mario Kart. which is going to be definitely something for the family because me and my son, he would definitely love that game. My daughter, everybody, in the family, even my girl, she would probably play this shit too. So yeah, man, I'm definitely glad I got the system. Looking forward to a beautiful relationship with it and, add it to the family, man. Got the Nintendo DS, got the 3DS, and now I have the Switch. So let's make that happen, baby. All right, man. The last thing I want to touch on, guys, before I get my ass up out of here is Cyberpunk 2077. If you guys remember the last podcast, I was bitching and moaning about not being able to see gameplay, the 45 plus minute gameplay that, a select few got a chance to see, which was the press. And, I was mad because I'm like, yo, the press has already seen this and you guys showed them over 45 minutes of gameplay and the masses, you won't let us get a taste of that. I mean, I was mad. I was very upset and wanted to see gameplay. And then guess what happened? Okay. I put the podcast out on Monday and later on that fucking same day, a video emerges with what? 48 minutes of fucking gameplay from Cyberpunk 2077. Okay. I don't know if I spoke that into fruition. I don't know if I spoke it into reality. I don't know what I did. And I don't know why they waited until then to show it. We could have got this shit weeks ago, but hey, it is what it is. We finally got to see the video and I have to say I was not disappointed. I had a lot of questions, with the game being in first person and I didn't know how that was going to work especially when you're talking about an open world game, like this game is. And when I say that this city and this world is so alive and so vibrant, I mean, it is crazy how big this game is and how busy this city is, man. I mean, everybody is doing their own thing, just like you were just as if you were in a city, man. If you were downtown walking around, I mean, everybody's doing a little bit of everything, man. This game is definitely also not for the children, if you will. Even when you go to create your character, okay, they focus in on the privates and body parts of, your select character or whatever, man. Like it was blurred out, for the demo, but supposedly all of that is visible when you actually get the game in your hands. Okay. There's definitely sex in this game. There's definitely, it's definitely an adult themed game. So I would not recommend this game for anybody under 17, man. Honestly, I just wouldn't. But what I saw was definitely worthy. And I can't wait to play this. I'm not going to lie to you, man. This game is, I haven't had another, first person game amaze me in this way since BioShock. Yeah, really. Cause before BioShock, I didn't give a fuck about first person games. Didn't want to see them. I didn't give a damn, but, that changed my mind on, how to look at games. And, it changed my perspective, not all the way. Cause I still don't really favor, first person games. If I have a choice, I'm always going to go third person. That's just me. But this game here is so good that it will make you forget that shit. Okay. And I'll leave it at that. All I'm going to say is, man, that some of the shit in this demo, you can ride vehicles, you can ride in cars and you can drive it in first person or third. That's also a nice little treat and tidbit. There's also these weapons, man. In one part of the video, the female was shooting at an enemy and she aimed for the wall behind his head and the bullet ricocheted off the fucking wall and he killed the enemy. So there's all kinds of like RPG elements and certain specials that you could use and actually work in this game, man. It's crazy. I advise anybody who hasn't seen a video to just check it out. It's all over the internet now. YouTube, you can see it. It's available everywhere. Check out this video, man, and you will not be disappointed if you haven't seen it. Not Cyberpunk 2077 is a game that I'm highly, highly anticipating, and I cannot wait to get my hands on the actual game. It's going to be a revelation. It may not be till 2019 or maybe even 2020, but it's coming, and that's all that matters, I guess. I'm going to get ready to get up out of here, guys. That's the show. I got a lot of stuff going on at the house right now. My son is very sick right now, and I have to get this finished and done. I just want to thank everybody for listening to this podcast, guys. Be looking out for future podcasts in the YouTube channel. Got a lot of things coming. I'm going to get out of here. With that being said, thank you for your patience. Thank you for everybody who's listened to me from day one all the way up until now. I love you, and thank you for your support. You have been listening to Studio MacGyver's Dragon Ball and Video Game Podcast. See you next time.